Hey everyone, it's Rob Stanley with the Ecom Wiz podcast, and today my special guest is Kamal Singh. He's founder and CEO of AMZ One-Step, and today we're going to talk about how to create converting Amazon FBA product listings that help you get more sales. So, Kamal, thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right into a lot of tips. So definitely people are going to want to take notes or listen to this podcast a few times. We're going to get right into this. And Kamal, let's jump right in and start talking about listing optimization. And why don't we start specifically with how important are keywords in that title?
Yeah, obviously, listing optimization is, one of the most important thing after the product research that you can do. Plus, the product title, when we specifically talk about the product title, that has the most amount of weight when it comes to the keyword indexing. So you want to make sure you have the most important keyword that best describes your product is in the product title. Not just the product title, the listing optimization is so important. It's overall, it's just going to help you in your conversion rates. Your PPC results are going to be better. If you're ranking your product, your listing will maintain that ranking because it is optimized. It's going to help on indexing more and more keywords. Plus, the general stuff. It's going to help you get lesser returns, avoid unwanted negative reviews. I see a lot of time where people are missing the sizing chart or sizing information in their listing, and that ends up causing more returns, negative reviews, and refund. So it has like endless benefits if you have a listing optimized.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one thing to point out too, you were just kind of saying like a sizing chart, but you also want to think about in that title, what are you looking for, right? Like if I'm just going to use a generic thing like tennis shoes, right? But say you're looking for a tennis shoe that's red, you should be putting red in that title. That way people that are looking for that shoe can find, the color red. So what are the kind of important things like the size, maybe the color are important in that title?
Okay, so what's other than the keywords, you want to make sure like what's the size, quantity, or color in the product title, so that people can find out right away that what exactly they're going to click on. So it could be quantity. Some people sell like pack of 2. It could be like if it's a variations, then this like red, yellow, that's automatically going to come to end of your title, so you don't have to put the color once again. So if it's not a variation, you want to make sure you're putting the color, size, quantity, or any USP if you have any in your product.
Yeah, that's great information. And let's also jump right into content design for CTR and ranking. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so CTR, there's mainly two factors which are really important. One is your product title, and the second is your main image. So first thing, make sure your title is easy to read and people can actually, it's readable and it provides the information that buyers are looking for. In simple words, make sure put in the content which best describes your product, because you might get a click if you're putting like random stuff, if you're just keyword stuffing, or if you're putting the main content in the end, you might get a click, but it's not going to be converting. That's going to hurt your ranking as well. So make sure good content stays at the first of your title, and that is one of the important factors when it comes to the click-through rate. And second, make sure you have a really good main image. So you won't really find out until you do the split testing. So you can use some tools like PickFu to do split testing, or you can use you can just, I think PickFu is one of the easiest or fastest way to get the results, like which main image will get you better click-through rate. Or if you don't want to use that, you can just put 30 days and 30 days and collect all the data, see which one is getting you better click-through rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Go with PickFu. They're actually a partner with us, and I know both the owners personally. They're really good guys, and they've been mentioned on the show several times. So definitely take a look at PickFu. But a question for you though on the image. There is restrictions about what that first image needs to either have or not have, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the main image, it must be product only, and it should cover 85% or more of the main image. Plus, you don't want to use any logos, badges, or do any fancy stuff just to increase your click-through rate, because if Amazon finds out or someone does a complaint, then your listing can be suspended, and that's going to hurt a lot of things. It's going to hurt your sales, it's going to hurt your ranking, so you don't want to do that. Make sure your listing is your main image is Amazon compliant, just a nice hero shot of the image. Nothing beats that. I see a lot of people doing fancy stuff. They're putting some props in there, using mirror reflection, using 12 pack or logo badges. It's not recommended. Just make sure it's a main image with a really creative, unique angle, and that does the job.
Yeah, and usually a professional service too, right? Somebody like you guys would definitely be a way to go. And like you mentioned, if it is a 2-pack, make sure there's 2 in the photo. Like, people will associate, if they're looking for 2 of them, have 2 of them in that main photo so they instantly know they're getting 2 of them. Obviously, other than the title too, like you were talking about. So let's jump straight into description. And how important are bullet points in descriptions now?
Okay, so bullet points and description, they are pretty important. What we have been, our studies, it shows that product title and the search terms in the back end, they weigh more when it comes to the keywords. Bullet points, they also get indexed. Description also gets indexed, but it doesn't have that much of a value when it comes to the keyword ranking. The only reason Amazon want us to describe the product feature more than just the keywords. So Amazon gives us like space for 5 bullet points. Make sure you're utilizing all of them. You can go up to 300 characters. Make sure it depends on the category. Some categories they have only 200 characters for the bullet points, and most of the categories you can go more than 300 as well. So make sure you're utilizing to explain your product features, and you can put some keywords here and there just to index on those ones, but make sure they look natural, they are easy to read, and it's providing value, and it's answering questions, whatever the buyers may have. So yeah, very important. You want to utilize all the bullet points, and plus also the description. So this description, if you don't have the brand registry, you're going to go with the HTML tag. There are some websites you can use, wordhtml.com, where you can just copy paste, and that's going to give you all product description with the HTML tags if you don't know it, or if so that is the quickest way. Just copy and paste in wordhtml.com. It's going to give you the whole product description with the HTML tag. So that's the best way to do it.
There you go. That's good information. That's a good tip also. Yeah. And I'm going to mention also, and I think you actually said it, but just to reiterate, it's good to have in those just in that description, because there's kind of 2 descriptions, right? There's the first one that people see that has the bullet points, and then down below, obviously you can have more description. But that first one, you got to have those main features that people are looking for. You got to just have those listed in there, clear as day, how many you're getting, what color is it, unless it's multiple colors, what's a key, and some of the key features of it that people are possibly looking for, or make you different than the person selling a product similar to yours. So definitely look at that. And then one other thing that actually was brought up on a podcast I did recently with Tim Jordan was take a look and use Grammarly to check your spelling. I mean, how important and how many times have you run across where somebody has not spelled something correctly, either in the title or description, and it just really turns people off, right?
That is right. I see so many listings where there are some grammatical errors, because the other thing what we do, Rob, when we're writing the product features, because a lot of people, they don't understand their product really well. It's kind of stupid to say that, oh, I'm the seller, I know everything about my product, but it's most of the cases, it's not that true. For example, sit down, write what makes your product different from others. What are the features? Is it FDA approved? Is it CE certified? If you don't have that information, go ask your manufacturer, because many people, they just go jump right into the writing part and they forget about the research. For example, recently there was a listing, it's called a grip strengthener, right? So the seller's like, okay, you can measure your strength with this with this skewed ball, and you can also play online games while you're squeezing the ball. And this is the only thing he knew about the product. I'm like, okay, there's got to be more than this. It's not just he sat down, looked at the product, he was squeezing it. What we ended up, figuring out that this can be used as a stress ball. This can be used as a good rehab exercises after your,
Oh yeah.
after your injury, or it's good for isometric exercise, combat sports, good for, reducing your blood pressure and stuff. Even though, he's the founder of that product, but still he's missing out on so many other things that his product can help you out. So once you have done a proper research, it makes your job so much easier to write those bullet points. Now you don't have to, you don't have to randomly put stuff in there just for the sake of. Now you're actually putting in the content, which really helps the buyers.
Yeah, and also, and correct me if I'm wrong, you also want to have some of those keywords in that description also. That,
That
and usually the ones that match the title, right?
exactly. So you want to repeat it. You don't want to like repeat it too many times. Just
Yeah.
give Amazon a bit of an idea that what exactly your product is and what is the main keyword it should be showing up on. And yeah, so put it in your search terms as well if it's on your title, and do not make it look like fake where you're saying the same keyword like 5-6 times. 2 to 3 times is fine.
One thing I want to point out too is that you want to be careful with your using certain testing or labs, like you were saying, FDA approved. Make sure that if you put anything in there, you've got something to back it up. Because I actually was just recently reading that people were getting taken down because of putting FDA, even though it said not FDA approved or not, it was actually saying it wasn't. Having that FDA in there actually caused some listings to be taken down just recently. So you got to kind of watch out for that. And then like Underwriters Laboratory, things like that, UL. Have you seen issues like that? And what do you recommend on, dealing with an issue regarding certifications?
Okay, certification, as you mentioned, just make sure you whatever you're claiming. First rule when you're creating a listing, make sure you're not putting any claims. If you do, make sure you have the documents to back it up. And what you're going to have to do in case if that happens, open up a case with the seller support and provide them the documentation, and they'll fix it. And if you're not FDA approved and you're putting in FDA approved, it's going to cause problems for your listing.
Yeah, the other thing I want to mention is that when dealing with factories in China, be careful and be aware of fake certifications. I had an issue like that when I was running my own business that they were saying they were certified, and then we did some really deep research, found out they weren't. The way we ended up solving it was on the product itself. We just didn't have them put the logo in there that said it, so we couldn't say that it was whatever it was, like UL Labs or something like that. But you be careful of that. That's something you want to definitely be careful of, and do your own research. If somebody says they're selling you something and it is approved by whatever agency it is, you need to verify it and validate it by going and doing some research on it and checking, because that can really cost you down the line. You end up building up this product and this business, and come to find out you get it taken down after you get things going. That really could end up costing you a lot more. So the other thing I want to jump into is we want to talk about like enhancing brand content. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some ways that people could enhance their brand's content? I guess it's mainly more image related, right?
That is true. So if you have the brand registry with the Amazon, now you can replace the product description with the enhanced brand content. So enhanced brand content is an old name now. It's known as A+ content.
Yeah, A+.
What you can do is you can tell your brand story in a nice, colorful way. You can add some banners, some texts, and you can have basically a home page of your product on the Amazon's page. So what it does, it's really helpful in terms of making your brand look legit. And also there's so many shoppers who just spend 5 to 10 seconds on the main page and then they click on the reviews section right away. So when they click on the reviews, they get scrolled down all the way down. And when they make their decision and they're scrolling up, then enhanced brand content is the first thing that they see. So you want to make sure if you have the ability to upload EBC, do that and make sure it looks good. And it increases your conversion rate up to 10 to 20% based on how you do it. On the other side, if you're using the brand EBC and it does not look good, it's going to hurt your sales. So make sure your EBC looks good and you're putting in all the important information. There's a lot of time in your bullet points and title, you can't put everything there. So EBC gives you a lot of extra room where you can give a lot of information to the buyers and what exactly they're looking for. For example, when you're understanding your target audience, before you even create a listing, first you should understand your product, and second you should also understand your audience. See what are the main questions they have. Read negative reviews from the other listings, or positive reviews. Read what questions people are asking. Read editorial sections and make a list. What are your buyers looking for? And that content can go in your enhancement content. For example, if you're selling something for kids or babies, who's your target audience? It's the moms. It's a female audience. That's your target audience who are going to make the buying decision. What are some of the main concerns or questions they have? Is it easy to clean, maybe? Or is it safe for my kid? So put all that information in the enhancement content so that your buyers can easily make that decision. And it becomes really hard to put that in the bullet points or description or title, because you want to convey so much information. So EBC is one of the best ways to do it. So if you this is called A+ content, but there's something new which is called A++ or premium A+ content. So what that does, it is an invite only program. You might have got that. Maybe check your emails if you have got the invite for A++ content or premium A+. Check that out. What that does, you can also add videos in your premium A+ content, and you can use hotspots, or there's a bunch of cool things that you can do with the A++ content. Recently they launched a new module where you can choose the hotspots. For example, if it's a techie product, you can hover over the EBC and show the hotspots of your product. So it's a really cool things that you can do with the enhancement content.
Yeah, I'm going to also circle back around a little more to the images. So lifestyle images, I mean, I know from, talking to so many people that lifestyle images, showing people how it's used, showing people how, maybe how it fits, or there's different ways you can show a lifestyle image. Some people, I think they get a little thrown off with lifestyle image thinking, oh, it's got to be a person holding the product. Not necessarily. Could be the product going into into how it's used, or maybe how it fits, or close-ups of it even could almost be lifestyle-like. How important are not only those lifestyle, but also kind of the pointing out of key features in the image? Have you seen, what kind of conversion rate difference do you get from those two factors, and plus obviously the quality of the image?
It helps a lot. There's no certain number. Some products, if you put in infographics and lifestyle images, I have seen increase in the sales up to 100% or more sometimes, and in some cases it's only 5%. It really depends on what kind of product you have, what kind of competition is in the market, how good your competitors' listings are. But infographics and the lifestyle can play a huge role in your listing quality. There are so many products where people don't know, people don't buy. Oh, is it easy to assemble? Can I do it myself? If you have an instructional image, okay, this is how you do it. It's gonna, you're potentially getting that buyer. Or maybe some people, they're confused. Is it really for me? Should I buy it? And if you have the lifestyle images of happy people using the product in action, can help a lot. And other thing I would like to mention in the infographics, even though if your product is super simple, just write some benefits there in forms of infographics, so that there's a lot of people who are just doing window shopping. They're just, they're just scrolling through listings, and those are the sales you can easily get if you're putting some infographics in the remaining of the images. Some people can get connected with one of those infographics and get a sale.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I look at it from when I'm shopping on there, what am I looking for? And, especially, if you have something very unique that there's no other competitors out there, that's a whole different world, but you still want to follow these, these basic tips that we're giving. But let's face it, a lot of people, they have, better mousetrap, let's call it. They found a product, has better features. They say, hey, I could sell this. It's really good. It's got all these, different things that others don't offer. You got to point those features out. You're pointing them out in several places. We talked about it, the bullet points. You're pointing them out probably in the title if you can, depending on limitations. You're pointing them out in the video, or I'm sorry, in the images with infographics, or pointing out, different features of it. So again, I'm talking with Kamal Singh, AMZ One-Step, and let's also jump right into videography. We talked about it a little bit, but why don't you tell us a little more about some tips people need to kind of know about when they're doing a video, and once they've got to that place where they can actually put a video into their listing.
So yeah, so again, once you have the brand registry, Amazon do allow you to put in a video on your listing. So videos can definitely help in your conversions. It's also a part of conversion booster. So make sure your video is Amazon compliant. You're not putting any claims or anything there. Make sure it's product based only, and there are a few different options with the videos that you can do. For example, if you have a techie product, maybe you can do some unboxing video, or if it's something which requires installation steps, maybe you can put a video of how to install this, or maybe how to assemble it, or maybe some of the things that, what are the benefits. Or there's, based on the product itself, there are like different types of videos you can do. Some videos are features only, some videos are benefits only. In some videos, if you have a big budget, you can hire multiple people. Let's say you have a sports product, you can have people running around using your product in there. Mm-hmm. So it really depends what your budget is, and how much you're willing to spend on a video. But definitely, if you have an option to upload the video, do that.
Would you say that having any video, because some people might want to just shoot the video themselves, right? And try to create themselves. Having any video versus no video is better. Do you agree with that?
Most of the cases, yes. Okay. If you have an option, you can, if you short on budget, just make sure you give it to an editor and get a good job done, even though you have shot it from your phone. If it's edited well, it can still look pretty good at a good price. So only in that case, you don't want, there's only one case where you don't want to put the video, where you're confusing the people more.
Yes, I agree.
If your video looks like that, try not to put it. If it's helping out, if it's simplifying your listing, do that. Even though if you're taking it from your phone and just get it done, edited nicely. There's like a bunch of websites online.
I mean, some of the phones now can shoot 4K and stuff. So that's what I was getting at, is the fact that even if you're thinking about if you've got the brand registry, you might as well do a video. That's kind of step A, is having a video versus no video. Step B would be actually getting somebody like AMZ One-Step to shoot a great quality video for you. So maybe what you could do actually is maybe shoot a little sample video for you guys and say, hey, this is what I had in mind. Maybe it's like, hey, I'm showing some features, and here's a couple of how-tos, like how to replace a battery on it, depending on what the product is. If they sent that to you guys, not necessarily to edit for them, but to kind of give you like an idea of what they were thinking and some of the features with it, that might give you guys a little head start to be able to do a better quality video for them, right?
Exactly. If you have shot something like that, let us know. We'll give you some some tips how you can improve it yourself. If not, we can help you out with enhancing that video.
Awesome. So again, I'm talking with Kamal Singh from AMZ One-Step. Kamal, tell everybody, what did you do before you started AMZ One-Step? What were you doing that kind of brought you to that whole, hey, I'm going to start AMZ One-Step?
So let's go to, a little back in time. So I moved to Canada in 2010 as an international student. So I took electronics engineering technology program. So went to school for about a few years, then started a corporate job. And back in 2015, I was selling on Amazon myself. I was doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, did wholesale for about some time, then did a private label, pretty much did everything in 2 to 3 years. Then I sold my Amazon brand to someone in Edmonton. Once that was done, there was AMZ One-Step, because I was organizing meetups for Amazon sellers. It's been almost 3 years now. I've been, done over 30 meetups and one conference and a few virtual meetups as well because of the COVID-19. So a lot of people were asking me, hey, how do you get this done? How do you get your listing done? Where do you take the photos from? And I'm like, okay, there is an opportunity. People are asking me about all these services. Why not I start an agency? Because I have contacts for everybody. So I was helping them. I was just giving them the freelancers contact first. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm going to do it on my own because people keep coming to me and asking for it. So then we started AMZ One-Step, and now we're a team of 7 in Edmonton, Canada. And we also have a second office in Karachi, Pakistan. That's where we have 25 people, and they're doing great job at graphic designs and editing and stuff.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So if you hadn't started AMZ One-Step, do you think you would have probably started another brand or go back into electronics? Where do you think you would have headed if AMZ One-Step didn't get created and get going?
I think probably a corporate job, for my whole life.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Well, again, Kamal, why don't you just tell everybody, kind of go over just real quickly a list of all the different things you guys offer at AMZ One-Step. That way people will kind of know what you guys offer if they're looking for a service. And then right after that, why don't you tell everybody how they get a hold of you, either on social media or on your website?
Okay, so what we do, we help mainly Amazon sellers with the listing optimization, product photography, A+ content, manage PPC, and account management and stuff. So this is what we do. Mainly, if you need to get in touch with us, you can go to www.amzonestep.com or search for AMZ One-Step. It's ONE, it's not letter one. So search for that on Facebook or Instagram, and you can get hold of us there.
That's perfect. So again, it's AMZONESTEP.com. Kamal, I really appreciate you being on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and for more information, please visit feedbackwiz.com.